Hello everyone, if you clicked on this video, it most likely means that your air filter needs to be cleaned or you want to clean it. If you've never done this before, or you just need a quick refresh, it's super simple, super easy. I will say, if you do not have a K&N air filter, this is not going to be relevant to you. But I do recommend getting one. They're great. Anyways, so this is going to be a very similar process across most sport ATVs, with more like trail quad or like utility quads. Air filter will be like closer to here or different places. So just look in your owner's manual, which should tell you how to access your air filter overall. And if you've never done this before, since you've had the machine, then I definitely recommend it. Air filters, for whatever reason, get neglected a lot. So clean your air filters, guys. Now the first thing we're going to do, at least on my Warrior here, is you need to take the seat off. This is probably going to be pretty like the same process for you, depending on if you have a a sport quad. This is probably going to be pretty similar. The airbox on the Yamaha Warrior is right here, and you can kind of just see the dust. I just went on a super dusty ride, and the dust is just caked on the outside. I can't imagine what the inside is going to look like. But now with the Warrior, if you have one, there's a breather hose here for the crank. I think it's PCV. Let's get this tube out of the way. Now, you have to disconnect this from the airbox, and then you just undo all the screws going to the airbox. Now, the tools you'll need, it's just some common hand tools. All I need is a Phillips screwdriver, and that's pretty much it. If you want to go all out and take the whole airbox out, I do believe these nuts are, or not nuts, bolts are 10mm bolts, but for any quad across the board, it's mostly just standard hand tools you can find pretty much anywhere. So Phillips and flathead are pretty common. So yeah. Alright, so we got all the screws removed. Now, on the Warrior anyway, you just kind of lift this part up and pull out. And you can just see already how much dirt and grime is all on this air filter. This is supposed to be a light shade of red. So yeah, pretty bad. And then you can check the inside of the filter, or the inside of the actual thing, and see how much grime and dirt is actually getting up there. I don't know if you can see that. That is disgusting. So I recommend not only cleaning the filter itself, but actually going ahead and cleaning the inside of the airbox too. Getting rid of all that loose dust so nothing ends up, getting your air filter dirty again. Another thing to check is there should be a rubber seal. I have no clue where mine is. But there should be a rubber seal that goes in this little trough on the outside of the airbox. Oh, it's in there. Anyways, so the rubber seal, and make sure that is still good. A lot of times it's either non-existent because it fell out in the previous owner, or they just, whoever had it before or did a service on it forgot to put it in, or just didn't feel like it. But this is definitely a necessary thing to keep your air filter as clean as possible for the longest time. Now, what you want to do is go ahead and either get, K&N actually sells a kit that you can get to clean this. It comes with soap and everything. If you don't feel like, feel that fancy, then all you really need is some Dawn dish soap, really. That stuff gets this stuff out great. So just kind of put it back and forth along the grooves. I'll show you here. And then you just kind of start scrubbing up and down, kind of like this with your hand. And just kind of getting as much grime and dirt out as possible. One thing, once you do rinse off with the hose. Don't rinse on the outside of the filter. Put the hose on the inside and rinse it out that way. So grime doesn't get further pushed down into the cotton. And the next thing you're going to need to do after that is make sure there's no remaining red dye or red oil. Get as much of that stuff off as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you need as much that stuff off as possible. And then go ahead and reapply your air filter oil, however you do that, whether it's that grease that you kind of put on in between the grooves or the actual spray. I prefer the spray. Now, the other thing, if you're doing this in 2 days like I am, put a like wad of paper or shop rags and just put it in this open hole so nothing gets in there, dirt, whatever, just to keep your components clean, because again, this will be straight in your engine and the likelihood of that happening is pretty slim, but it's just an extra safe precaution so nothing does get in there. Alright, now once you have your Dawn here and your filter, what you're going to want to do, pop this puppy open, is you're just going to drizzle it back and forth in between these little ridges here. It doesn't have to be perfect, but anywhere the Dawn's going to land is where it's going to take off that red oil. Alright, now what you're going to do is you're going to get a hose and just barely turn the water on. And you're going to put your hose, or your filter, my bad, not hose, sideways, and you're just going to wet it. But if it's high power, that's going to blow dirt into the filter. So we're just really just wetting the filter. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to kind of scrub as much as you can with your fingers, just up and down. It kind of works. Just to kind of get in there. If you have a toothbrush, that actually works a lot better to break the dirt out. I don't, so I'm just using my hand, just whatever can get in those grooves. Alright, now I couldn't really show the water, but once you get all the soap on, it suds up a little bit. Turn the power or the pressure all the way up and press or squirt down in this hole, pushing all of this dirt and grime out of the filter, and you can kind of see it is a more of a white color now. Now there is some reddish spots, and those reddish spots you do want to hit. Just put a couple dabs of soap in those ribs there, and it should be good to go. Alright, now once you have your filter all cleaned up as best you can, now what you're going to want to do, since I don't know if you guys can see, but it is about 7 o'clock where I live, so it is night. But hopefully you did this in the morning, or it's daytime, and you can just set this out in the sun and let it air dry. And you just have to let this dry completely. There cannot be a single wet spot on this, otherwise I'm pretty sure the oil won't sit right or whatever. So just make sure this filter is completely dry when you do apply the oil, whether that means putting it in your house and sleeping on it, waiting 2 days or whatever, but it has to be dry. So I will come back to you guys when it is. Alright, so we got my filter. It's a new day, as you can see, and it looks cleaner. I don't know if the camera can really do it justice, but it still has a little bit of a red tinge. That's fine as long as it's completely clean of dirt and most of the oil is removed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our Canon oil filter oil, and you can either use like that grease stuff and like put it along like the ridges, like along here, or you can use this. I prefer this. Pop the lid off here, and then you just spray it 2 to 3 inches away, evenly up and down the filter, and just go all the way around until it's completely coated. Alright, so we got the filter all sprayed, and you can probably see it's a lot more red and definitely coated in oil. Now wipe the excess that should get on like the tips and sides just with a paper towel so it doesn't completely get caked in dirt. Now what you want to do is just, well, put it back in. So we're going to go ahead and do that. One thing I will mention is if you are using the spray can, do it in a ventilated area and with clothes that doesn't really matter, because I'm pretty sure this stuff stains. So good thing to know. Alright, back with the Warrior with my brand new, well not brand new, but cleaned filter. So really quick I want to say what I did is I just got just a junky old rag, damped it slightly, and as you can see now it is very, very clean. If you really want to go all out, you can absolutely take your air box out and you know, take it by the hose and rinse it out that way. I was too lazy, so I just decided to do a rag. Any way will work. So now for the reinstallation, you're just going to take whatever you put in the hole. Hopefully you did that. Take that out. And then you can take your airbox lid and check the air intake and the top part. I kind of already cleaned it. Make sure there's no sitting dust. Clean that out as much as you can. And then after that, go ahead and this is definitely needed. So if you have, there should be like a foam ring that goes around. I don't know where mine went. I think it kind of just fell off. I don't exactly know how. I don't think K&N sells replacements, and I don't really feel like buying a brand new filter. But if you still do have your foam thing, you know, your foam, what do you call that? Like seal. Get when you did buy your filter, if you bought it, there should be sealant grease. And that's just something you can put around, smear with your finger, and pop it on just for an extra layer of security and safety so nothing gets in your engine. Definitely put that on. I'll have links in the description where you can get the spray, the oil, and the sealant, and any, you know, anything you might need, tools and whatnot. So now what you're going to do with the Warrior anyway, you place it in there, I think. Yep. Boom, just like that. And you grab your lid and put it on and go ahead and screw all those bolts down, making sure that your seal is not folded on like the outside or something, so everything's sealed. In this case, I don't have it, so I'm going to come back after I'm done filming this video and put new seal in, but just make sure nothing is like folded over. Put your cover back on, screw everything down, and yeah. Alright, I've screwed everything down in, and now what you want to do, pro tip actually, is you want to take a marker and mark where the screw is. Take a line and mark across it so you can see if like the next ride you do and you really ride it, the vibrations won't accidentally get this thing loose. And if it does, you'll obviously be able to notice that. If you don't, you can kind of see I've lost countless airbox screws to this, and it's driving me nuts. So definitely do this, it's worth it. And then just after the first couple rides, I would definitely check to make sure those screws are still there. Actually, before each ride, just make sure everything's tight. So now what you're going to want to do is make sure your PCV valve, if you have it on your airbox, plug that back in. And if you don't do this, any dirt and debris will get in your engine, like directly into the crankcase, which I have forgot to do, and then had to do an oil change. So getting dirt and debris in there just isn't great. That is pretty much it. I mean, it's that easy, simple. Thank you again for watching, first of all. If this helped, please make sure to like and comment down below if this helped you at all, or if it didn't help you, if anything wasn't clear, or you've done this K&N air filter oil thing a million times and you're like, this kid doesn't know what he's doing. Whatever you do, whatever comments you have, please drop them down in the comment section. And while you're down there, may as well put what kind of what you're riding. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later on the next one. Peace.